Okay, good morning to all of you. In previous session, we have seen discrete time systems, okay, where the input x of n has been applied to get an output denoted as y of n, as well as we have seen one example, okay, where we have identified the output of various discrete time system for the given input signal x of n, right? There we have seen some systems, right, such as identity system, unit delay, unit advance, and accumulator, right? So today we'll be discussing different building blocks that can be used to realize a discrete time system, right? So these basic building blocks are used to design the given discrete time system by using its input output equation, right? So let's begin today's session. So today we'll be looking for basic building blocks of discrete time system. So basic building blocks of discrete time systems, right? So basically there are total 5 blocks, okay, basic building blocks that can be used to interconnect various components and to form the complex discrete time systems, right? So first one is an adder, second one is the constant multiplier, third one is a signal multiplier, next one is an unit delay element, next one is unit advance element. So these 5 basic building blocks can be used to form any complex discrete time system, right? So let's look at these building blocks one by one. So first one is what? An adder, right? So it performs this block, that is an adder performs the addition of two signals or sequences to form another sequence, which is also called as sum sequence or the addition of the given input sequences, right? And it is that output will be again denoted as y of n, okay? So in block diagram or graphically this can be represented as, right, an adder will be there where you are applying two input signals, right, that is x1 of n and x2 of n, okay? So these are two inputs which are applied to the given adder, okay, given block, that is nothing but adder, and it will produce an output which will be denoted as y of n, which is the addition of these two applied inputs, that is x1 of n plus x2 of n, okay? So here again the input x1 of n, x2 of n are applied to produce the output y of n, okay? All these sequences or signals are discrete in nature, right? So these are discrete time signal, okay? as well as whatever current inputs that you are applying to the system, the output depends on those current input samples. Okay, so in its input output equation, it doesn't utilize some previous inputs or future input sample. Okay, the output y of n depends on current input sample, right? So therefore, to perform this addition operation, the memory element is not required. So this operation is memoryless operation, right? This operation is memoryless, right? So adder don't require any memory. This diagram figure can be called as what? Graphical representation of an adder. And this addition operation is memoryless. Okay, it doesn't depend on the previous, or you can call it as past and future input samples, right? So that is the first building block, which is called as an adder. Second one is the constant multiplier. In previous case, both these input signals are varying with respect to discrete time small n. Okay, so constant values are not applied here. So these are variables. Okay, so x1 of n and x2 of n may comprises multiple samples. Okay, so that means you are applying different values here. These are not constant values. Okay, in case of constant multiplier, so it will be scaling and the input x of n with some constant value, right? So simply the input sequence will get multiplied with a constant value, right? So again, this block can be represented as simply input you are applying x of n to the system. That input is getting multiplied with a constant small a, just for example, to produce an output y of n, which is nothing but the scaling of input x of n with scaling factor small a, right? So again, this figure can be called as what? Graphical representation of graphical or block representation of simply of constant multiplier. Again, if you observe the output of this constant multiplier y of n, it depends on current input x of n and the constant, okay, which is used to scale that input. Okay, so therefore again it don't require any memory. So again, this operation is memoryless. Third one is a signal multiplier. So again, in signal multiplier, the multiplication of two input discrete time signals, that is x1 of n and x2 of n, will be carried out by this signal multiplier to form the output sequence or the signal, which is again discrete in time, represented as y of n. So that output is nothing but the product sequence, right? So again, this can be represented in graphical form as you are applying two input signal x1 of n and x2 of n to this multiplier, right? So these two input signals are applied, that is x1 of n and x2 of n are applied to this signal multiplier to produce the output, again y of n, which is the multiplication of x1 of n and x2 of n. In previous case, you have multiplied input sequence with a constant small a, but here these two sequences are variable sequences as they comprises multiple samples, so at each time instance they may comprise of varying sample values, right? So again you are multiplying these two sequences, but again if you observe the output y of n, which is also called as a product sequence, right? So if you observe this output, so the output depends on current input that you have applied, okay, at the present time instance small n. So it depends on the input x1 of n and x2 of n. It doesn't depend on any other value, okay. So therefore again this operation is memoryless, right? It don't require any memory. So again this is nothing but your graphical representation of signal multiplier, okay. So these are first three blocks, that is nothing. First one is an adder, second one constant multiplier, and third one signal multiplier. All these three blocks are memoryless, or these operations are memoryless, right? Now let's look the fourth one. So the fourth one is unit delay element, right? So in case of unit delay element, so as we have already seen in the previous session, one example we have seen where we are applying the input x of n and it is delayed by one time instance, right? So it is delayed by one in time, right? So input was x of n, output was x of n minus 1, right? So in unit delay element, it simply delays the signal passing through it by one sample, okay. That means if the input signal is x of n, the output is x of n minus 1, right? So this can be represented as simply this block is represented as said inverse, right? Again to this block you are applying input x of n and it is producing an output which is represented as y of n, and this y of n is equals to x of n minus 1, right? So this is called as what? Unit delay element, and this can be considered as graphical representation of what? Unit delay element. Okay, so again if you observe this output equation, right? So y of n, you applied input x of n, okay. So the current input is at present time instance small n, the current input is x of n, right? But the output depends on the previous input sample, okay. It is the past input sample. So because current time instance is small n, so previous time instance will be n minus 1, right? So therefore here the output depends on the previous input sample, right? That is x of n minus 1. So to identify the output of system, you need to store all the previous input samples, right, of previous input at the previous time instances, right? So therefore this block requires memory, okay. So it is, this operation requires memory, right? So memory is required here. It is not a memoryless operation, right? It requires memory because the output depends on previous inputs, that is x of n minus 1. So to identify the output of this unit delay element, the input at time instance n minus 1 will be recalled from the memory at time instance small n. Okay, to identify the output at time instance small n, the input present at time instance n minus 1 will be fetched from the memory, right? That is unit delay element. Now fifth one is unit advance element. Okay, so again in unit advance element, this operation also we have seen in the previous session where we have applied the input x of n, right? And when it is applied to the system, it has produced the output x of n plus 1. Okay, so that means the uh, simply in contrast to the unit delay, unit advance moves the input x of n ahead by one sample in time, okay, to produce the output x of n plus 1, right? So again it can be in block, can be represented as, again, you are applying input x of n to unit advance element, okay, which is nothing but z, which produces an output y of n, which is equals to x of n plus 1. Okay, so current input is x of n, but output depends on future input sample, that is x of n plus 1. So current time instance is small n, so next time instance, that is future time instance, will be n plus 1, right? So again, to identify the current output at time instance small n, you should know the future input present at time instance n plus 1. That means you have to store these future inputs in the memory. So therefore, memory is required in this operation, right? So this operation requires memory. Again, this is nothing but the graphical representation of unit advance element. Okay. So here you are applying input x of n, it is producing output which comprises the future input sample, right? But if you try to realize the systems which comprises the future input sample, so physically it is impossible to predict what will be the future input, right? So just for example, currently I am delivering a lecture, but I cannot predict the future, okay, what I will be doing maybe at 1 p.m. today, maybe at 2 p.m. today, okay. So the future input samples cannot be stored, right? So whatever examples that will be looking in our subject, okay, for the realization of discrete time system by utilizing these basic building blocks, okay, we have seen 5 basic building blocks, but you will never find this what unit advance element in the realization of discrete time system, right? So basically because it involves looking into the future of the signal, right? So you cannot predict. Just for example, on television you are watching certain channel, okay, but again you cannot predict whatever signal is coming through your set-top box, or maybe through your dish television, okay, or maybe you are streaming online, okay, live, but suddenly your network fails, or uh, sometimes you will get no signal, right? You cannot predict that broadcasting on television will go continuously in the same fashion, right? Somewhere you will get scrambled signal, disturbed signal, distort signal, or somewhere sometimes there may be uh, uh, there will not be presence of signal, okay. So you cannot predict what will be the next future sample, right? So Therefore the realization of this such system is not possible, right? So because it can be considered as what, non-real time system, correct? So in today's session we have seen five basic building blocks which can be used to realize or to design the complex discrete time system. Okay, which are those five basic building blocks? So first one was an adder, second one constant multiplier, third one signal multiplier. These three operations are memoryless. They don't require any memory because output depends on the current inputs that you have applied to the system or to these blocks, right? The remaining two are unit delay element and unit advance element. In unit delay element, the output depends on the past input sample, and in case of unit advance element, the output depends on future input sample. Okay, so therefore these both element required memory, right? So in next session we'll be looking one example where we'll be realizing the discrete time system by utilizing its input output equation and by using these basic building blocks. Okay, so thank you for joining today's session.